flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vote.
Alderman Tobin.
Here.
John Francois.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Ray. Here. Kleiner.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Witt.
Here.
Massey. President Rodriguez.
Here. Approval of minutes.
Do you want me to say this?
So moved.
Oh.
Approval of minutes for May 6th. Motion by Alderman Johnson. Alderman Witt. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do we have any correspondence?
Nope.
Okay. For the good of the city, would like to call the police chief up for the pinning ceremony.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Before we get started this evening, I'd like to thank Mayor DeStefano, the Common Council, and the Police Commission for providing me this opportunity to publicly recognize members of the Middletown Police Department on their recent promotions. I would also like to thank the family members, friends, city residents, and the members of the Middletown Police Department who have joined us here this evening to honor and celebrate the accomplishments of the amazing individuals. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to briefly speak about the men and women of the City of Middletown Police Department. From our clerical support staff, who diligently work behind the scenes to keep this organization running every day, to our parking enforcement officers who maintain order over our municipal parking, to our animal control officer who works with the community to keep their pets safe, to our maintenance staff who take pride in keeping our building in the best possible condition they can, to our service coordinator who bridges the gaps between various service providers and our residents, to our dispatchers whom answer tens of thousands of telephone calls and whom are the conduit between people in need and the services needed to keep them safe. And to our sworn staff of police professionals who put others' safety before their own and whom strive every day to make a positive difference throughout this community. I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you, and I have the privilege to witness the dedication, commitment that each of you give in your specific roles as you strive to meet the needs of this city, where you serve with passion, commitment, and integrity. We may not be perfect, and we may not always be able to achieve the desired outcomes, but I know firsthand it is not for lack of trying, and I am proud of each and every one of you, and I would like to thank you for what you do day in and day out. So thank you. I would now like to invite Lieutenant Charles Petrone and Sergeant Michael Napoli to come forward to the front, please. If you guys don't mind. Center stage, back. I will officially pin each member in a moment, but I will first provide a brief overview of each member and their service to our organization. Lieutenant Charles Petrone is a 12-and-a-half-year veteran of the City of Middletown Police Department, starting his career with Middletown Police on September 10, 2012, after serving as a police officer for approximately 2 years with the town of Red Hook Police Department. Lieutenant Petrone was promoted to the rank of lieutenant on March 14, 2024. In this role, he oversees a patrol squad, ensuring the goals of the organization and the needs of the community are being met. Lieutenant Petrone has a very calm and positive demeanor and is a role model not only for his subordinates, but to the entire department. Lieutenant Petrone is constantly striving to learn and grow in his new role and is always encouraging and mentoring the members of his squad, as well as other members of the department, to be and to do their best. During his tenure, Lieutenant Petrone has led by example in all of his roles, and he has held many positions to include field training officer, police instructor, taser instructor, crisis intervention instructor, and active shooter instructor. He's also the recipient of numerous awards and accommodations, and I am honored to have him serve in his new role as a patrol lieutenant and as one of the top-ranking members of the Middletown Police Department, where he will be instrumental in guiding and leading our department into the future. Sergeant Michael Napoli is a 6-year veteran of the City of Middletown Police Department, starting his career with the City of Middletown Police Department on June 17, 2019, after spending approximately 2 years serving as a police officer with the Village of Monticello Police. Sergeant Napoli was promoted to the rank of sergeant on April 19, 2024, at which time he took on one of the most challenging and by far one of the most important and instrumental positions in the policing profession, becoming a first-line supervisor. In his new role, Sergeant Napoli not only has to work through the challenges that come with the transition between police officer and supervisor, but he is now tasked with being the direct connection between the organization and the boots on the ground. He is responsible to mentor, motivate, and ensure that our police officers are meeting the needs of the community and our organization. I have no doubt that Sergeant Napoli will excel in his new role, as he is a hard-working member of this department, always leading by example and striving to be the best that he can in every assignment. I'd also like to recognize 3 other members of the department that were promoted during the last 1.5 to 2 years. Unfortunately, they were not available to attend this evening, but I do believe they deserve recognition as well. Detective Patrick Gass, he began his career with the City of Middletown Police Department on August 28, 2006, and was promoted to detective on February 11, 2023. Detective Sarah Coletti began her career with the City of Middletown Police Department on September 5, 2011, and was promoted to detective on October 9, 2023. And Detective Barone began his career with the City of Middletown Police Department on October 16, 2017, and was promoted to detective on March 22, 2024. I also apologize to each of these members for waiting so much time to have this pinning ceremony, so that's on me, and I do apologize to make you wait so long. These gentlemen that stand before us this evening have put in countless hours preparing themselves for this opportunity. Not just the long hours they committed to studying for their promotional exams, but the hours, days, and years that they have put forth throughout their careers working towards achieving and advancing their promotions, advancing to these promotions. Both of these men have demonstrated early in their careers their commitment and dedication to the City of Middletown Police Department, as well as their desire to move up through the ranks of the police department. Each of them now hold vital and important leadership positions where they will be able to utilize their strong work ethics and experience to provide direction and impart knowledge throughout the department. I'm very confident in their abilities, and I'm confident that they will excel in their new positions. Join me for a moment.
Chat.
One more round of applause for them. Lieutenant Patron and Sergeant Napoli, your dedication and commitment to the Middletown Police Department is inspiring and so greatly appreciated. I know that each of you have spent years preparing for these promotions, and I commend you for all your efforts and dedication to this organization and your achievements. It is often said or believed that people are promoted as a reward for all the great work they have done, but in fact, that's only a small part of the equation that led you here today. Your promotions are based on the fact that you have demonstrated that you are capable of taking on additional responsibilities and challenges. Without a doubt, each of you will be faced with new challenges as you navigate through your new roles. And as we all know, policing in 2025 is much different than it was just a few years ago. To say it's a challenge is an understatement. But with challenges comes reward, and I'm very confident that you will enjoy the rewards that come with leading people and watching them grow and achieve their own goals. I encourage you in your new roles to stay true to yourselves and true to the strong morals and ethics that have led you on this journey and which have helped you achieve your new roles. I ask that you always remember the oath that you took in which you swore to protect and serve the people of this community. I also ask that you always reflect upon what led you to become a police officer, your why, as well as your why that led you to become and take on additional responsibility of becoming a supervisor. As you enter into these new roles, I implore you to strive for excellence in everything that you do and demand excellence from your people you lead. I also ask that you continue to work diligently towards achieving the goals and objectives of our organization while ensuring the safety and security of this great city. This concludes our ceremony, and once again, I'd like to congratulate both honorees. Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll take a short break. For the good of the city, anyone like to address the council? Don't rush. Calm down. Sign in. All right, remarks to the mayor.
Good evening. Before I begin the presentation, I just wanted to reference, the incident in Chester that we've all been reading about in the newspaper. As I believe you all know that the victim was a Middletown resident. As a matter of fact, a neighbor of Jude. And I did send a letter to the family expressing, our outrage or joint outrage with them about what happened to their son, and also offering whatever assistance we as a community can offer. And Jude and I paid a visit to the house. I know the police department's been in contact with them. And basically, the family wants justice. And hopefully, the recent indictment will lead to justice. And we just want them to know that we're all there for them to do whatever we can to ease their pain moving forward. And Jude, I want to thank you for making that trip with you. So, all right, the first slide tonight was something that was a little surprising yesterday, and that was an audit report that was posted by the New York State Comptroller. Now, I have a lot of respect for Tom DiNapoli and his job as Comptroller, but this was somewhat of a surprise, the criticisms that they put in the audit. Basically, they're talking about almost a 10-year incident that was brought to light about 7 years ago. The city at the time cooperated by providing all the documentation that we had regarding the trips in and out of the sewage treatment plant. And what it came down to is there was an allegation by the Comptroller's office that there was double dipping by two sewer treatment employees that were on an evening or a night shift. And that at the same time while they were working in Middletown, they were also on the payroll in Crawford, where there was a single person. Here it was at least one person plus more accountability here. But so we provided them with a lot of documentation to it to address their concerns. But more importantly, we provided that information also at the request of the district attorney, because there was an appearance of impropriety. And when we see the appearance of impropriety, we want to make sure that the officials who would prosecute that kind of case receive all the documentation. Well, they did, and they decided 7 years ago not to prosecute the case. So the case was dismissed. They were charged, so apparently they saw something, but they decided not, the case was dismissed, and I don't know the reasons why it was dismissed, other than the fact that it was dismissed. And that was confirmed again by our Corporation Counsel, Alex Smith. So we don't know what the Comptroller's office is referencing. I think it's inappropriate, I think I said in my response to the media, for a government office that after someone who was charged with some type of illegal activity of stealing $90,000 plus, that the prosecuting authorities decided not to pursue the case against them for whatever reason, and the Comptroller's office decided not to seek reimbursement for the city is an indication to us, especially since the person has been retired for quite a few years, that there's no impropriety for us to prove. Now, we welcome audits. Audits are part of our process in order to maintain good government. Not only do we have our state audit, which is every few years, we as a body, as a city, we go above and beyond, and we've retained a private auditing firm, RBT, to do annual audits in the city. So we go above and beyond so that we can catch or see, because we know people will make mistakes. We know people that may be subject to inappropriate handling of cash. So there's a lot going on here in city government. You know, we spend $55 to $60 million a year. So we want to make sure that there's eyes on every nickel that we spend, not just our eyes. You guys approve the audit on authorizing the checks, but you're not the person authorizing the work to be done. So there's a process that we all have to go through. So we feel that we've done that. We do take recommendations from the auditors. For example, the recommendation for years was to implement time clocks rather than just writing down time in and out. But the comptroller's office sort of ignored that that's something had to be bargained for with our unions. We did get it bargained for. We did get it into the contracts, and now we're implementing the time clock program. Another thing about vacation payouts and things of that nature, where our collective bargaining agreement says one thing, but the comptroller's office says, well, we don't think that's the best practice. Not that it's illegal, but that it's not the best practice. So, well, it's in our collective bargaining agreement, so we have to abide by the collective bargaining agreement as long as it's not illegal. So we had some problems with their ultimate release of the audit, but when you consider basically a 10-year time period, I think in the fact that this is the major one was the fact that a person or two people who were charged, the case was dismissed. We will be sending off a letter to the comptroller's office. We already responded with a multi-page letter with our initial response to the issues they raised, and then asking them to revisit their determination that they issued in the report. So I'll be doing that on behalf of the city, and we'll see how the comptroller's office responds, or at least give an explanation to why they would want us to tear down a person or persons who were not criminally charged, point the finger at them, and why they, if they still believe that that money was taken illegally, why they didn't pursue it or advise the city to pursue it civilly even, other than just criminally. So it's an ongoing issue. It's not dead, and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on that as we move forward. Okay, next schedule is, our next slide, is Touro University, the class of 2025 graduation. The Paramount Theater was packed for this. I had the opportunity to, as I do annually, to address the students as part of being the host community of Touro Middletown. I would say great event where, the 1,100-seat theater was filled with family, friends, and graduates, and it was just a fantastic moment. It's 10 years now of Touro in the city. It's had a tremendous impact on our community. It's also led to additional educational opportunities through master's programs, through physician assistance programs. And that building, the old Horton Hospital, 400,000 square foot vacant hospital building, is almost totally full now. There's not much space left in that building to be used for other activities. So it's a moment of pride for our community, and especially when you see people coming from all over the world to come to their daughter or their son's graduation, to become medical doctors, and then in August or September, we'll start again with the white coat ceremonies with the new students coming in. So that school has really been a tremendous boon for Middletown and for our community, and brings a lot of pride to us. Second, then, we went to Fayetien College, which was also their class of 2025 graduation. I had the opportunity to introduce the commencement speaker, who was Maria Bruni. They asked her to be the speaker because of all that Maria's done in regards to the development of the community campus, and they were very thankful of that. If you look at the picture on the left, in the middle, that guy with a disguise on is our very own Dr. Paul Johnson, and the lady on the left is Maria with her cap and gown on. And but again, it was a lot of family and friends, again, from all over the world here in Middletown. And as we went out later on for dinner, some of us, we saw some of those same people out for dinner here in our downtown area and just enjoying the community. Some were commenting about the reservoir trails that they took a walk on. So in a way, it's a little bit of a tourist attraction too, but also brings great pride. As you know, Fay Tian College will be changing over to Northern University. As soon as the state approves it, it will become the main campus of Northern University rather than this, quote, satellite campus of Fay Tian College, becoming much more open to other programming, big data, and other biomedical work. They're working with the Orange County Partnership on different symposiums. They just hosted some of the high school students for a, what do you call the Taiwan chip manufacturing symposium, where the kids were making their own chips, and they're now working with Middletown High School and other schools in the area, hopefully, to bring about some additional programming that will be used in some of the upstate programs, like Micron, these businesses that are opening in New York State. There's been a big emphasis on New York State on bringing in chip manufacturers, so it was a great time also. Next is the Marilyn Pierce Warming Center. Myself, Alderman Kleiner, and Maria, we had the opportunity to attend the Greater Middletown Interfaith Council luncheon, the end of the year luncheon that they had, and this year they were honoring Marilyn Pierce. As you know, if you've been here for even a few years, Marilyn's involvement with the Warming Center has been nothing but short of spectacular. She has put in so much time and so much effort, and she's just a very caring person. And we felt, after discussing with her family and with the GMIC personnel and also some of the council members, that it would be appropriate for us to rename the warming center, or not rename, but to name the warming station, not center, warming station, as the Marilyn Pierce Warming Station. And she was very emotional at the luncheon, as you can see in her face. But Marilyn is... said she's going to bounce back. She has turned over the day-to-day operations to, I believe, Nancy Miller, Maria, was it? But Marilyn said that as soon as she's back on her feet, she will be returning in some capacity. So I want to thank Marilyn publicly also for all the work she's done over the years in this area. If you had a chance, we joined the Middletown Rotary Club for the second annual Flags for Heroes in John Degnan Park. The bottom left is, you'll see the little Middletown Recreation Department logo, and that's because Middletown Recreation assisted them in putting up all the flags. They're in symmetrical order. They're very nice, and as you can see, the picture we have is when the wind's blowing, and a lot of people have been commenting on it, very positive. I want to thank the Rotary Club, Mark Fellenzer, and I think his son, Ryan, was the coordinator of the event. And the second year in a row, they've done a fantastic job. I know I sponsored one for my dad, who was a sergeant in the Army, and it brings a lot of pride when you stand here and look at your parents' a flag dedicated to their service. And it wasn't only for Army or service people, it was also for other people in the community, veterans or of police, fire, however you wanted to honor your friends or family. Next up is Estelitas. We had another opening on ribbon cutting at 114 North Street. Nice young couple who have been in the restaurant business working for others for 20, 25 years each, and decided they want to open up their own restaurant. I can tell you the food is very, very good. I was there with Miguel and a group, and nothing will surprise you here, but when the check came, Miguel left. So I ended up with the check, but I was happy to pay it, and that the food was delicious, and I encourage people, if they have an opportunity, to pay them a visit.
I ate there last night, too.
Yeah, the Masonic Lodge building on the North Street side. We had another great ribbon cutting, too, at the 42 North Street. As you know, this building was an empty building that was dilapidated for many, many years. And we collectively, as a city council and mayor, we set policy on some of these buildings where we're giving access now to, like Jerry's Park in this case, where this was a long, narrow building of probably 4,000 or 5,000 square feet on the first floor. And we all know that retail is not coming back in that sense, where this large retail, unless it has another purpose, like New Middletown has a big mail order operation. But so we wanted to redirect the development of this building and of 46 right across the Jerry's Park. As you can see, that's under renovation. It's going to be 24 apartments upstairs, first floor commercial, but same principle of access onto Jerry's Park. That creates smaller storefronts, and that will then attract smaller business people like the folks in the picture here. And it's called Open Concept, and the two young ladies there, their mom also owns an operation, a business right across the street. So this family is really investing heavy into our downtown area. So I wanted to thank them for their investment and their commitment. And they're very, very smart, sharp business people too. They came up with some marketing concepts. They already involved some of their fellow business people on North Street with an Explore North Street program. And so they're fits into our Discover North Street program, our Discover Downtown program, and Discover Middletown program. So I want to thank them for A, their commitment, and B, for being such an active part, and they just opened their doors. We've been busy with ribbon cuttings and stuff of that nature too, and we also had the Middletown Reservoir Bike Trails, and we had a group of mountain bikers. As you know, the trails have been open for quite a while. They're mostly walking trails. So I guess you can bike on them also, but there was a demand for mountain biking trails, and a young man named Ryan took hold of this. He sent me an email saying, hey, can we get involved with the city and design some trails up at the reservoirs? I forwarded it to Ray Lynn. Ray Lynn took it from there with John Bianchi, the Parks Recreation folks, staff, and with a group of volunteers, they started clearing trails through the woods. A lot of work, labor intensive, and they finally have the opportunity to open it. This past Saturday, we did the ribbon cutting. Sparrow was there, and I know that Jerry was there also. And we had interesting that the amount of use that it's already getting. You're voting on the names of the trails tonight, and one of them is called the Pitter Patter, what was it, Kate? Pitter Patter? Something like that, Pitter Patter. Obviously directed towards little kids. So they're not only, Pitter Patter Loop, okay, so it's directed towards little kids on the bike. So they were thoughtful enough to make sure that young people could enjoy the trails too. So we're going to have Joe Massey do the Ouch Trail when he comes back on his bike, because we're hoping that it will be an opportunity to hear ouch. I hope he's watching. We also had 2 nights of celebration at SUNY Orange. As you know, a few weeks ago, we honored SUNY Orange with a key to the city and a plaque at one of their daytime functions. They were able to get a group together. And the SUNY Orange 75 years of SUNY Orange, and it all started here in Middletown, and I believe the first community college in New York State. Jerry, you can be the factual guy. That's the, so they were very proud of what's going on this weekend, and they, Friday they had the Return to the Mansion, which was the celebration at the mansion, and it was well attended, and you can see myself, the council president, and Maria in the one picture, and we, it was put on, I think, by the SUNY Foundation, I think this was. But Saturday night, they had a big shindig at the golf club, West Hills Golf Club, and the chancellor, SUNY Chancellor John King, spoke and talked about the impact of community colleges on communities like Middletown. That an interesting fact that I didn't know was that when SUNY was first formed, when this group got together to bring about a community college, Orange County had the lowest percentage of high school graduates attending college in New York State. And that is why the Morrison family and others got involved in opening this school and donating the property, and the rest was, as they, Dr. Young and her presentation said, was just, then we built more buildings, and then we built more buildings, then we built more buildings, and then we opened Newburgh, and then we're building more buildings. So their enrollment is up, but the economic impact on Orange County is huge. I don't remember the number, but it was 1 out of every $9, I think it is, that's spent in Orange County has something to do with the SUNY system here in Orange County. So kudos to them. It was a great night and a great event. The one other picture is with the two of the SUNY Orange students who have received the recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence. One is Sarah Kali Alvarado. I believe that's Sarah in the red dress. And another, Brianna Reed, who was not at the event. But congratulations to them for being the recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence. Upcoming events, we have the Juneteenth Festival. I'm going to leave that to Maria to get into more detail. She's been handling it with Sadie's and in the Middletown NAACP. So as you know, that will be Thursday, June 19th from 3 to 5 p.m., but Maria will be making more detailed presentation on that. And don't forget Memorial Day on Monday. It's at the sponsored by the Middletown Wallkill Veterans Council. The doors open at 10:30 a.m. The ceremony is at 11 a.m. at the Middletown Elks Lodge at 48 Prospect Street. If you have the opportunity, please attend. It's nice of us to honor those who have paid that ultimate price, and also to see the veterans that were still with us. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Any question for the mayor? Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment on one other thing on Turo. I don't know how the warming station would get by without the Turo volunteers. They've just been absolutely amazing, and they're already organized for next year.
Yes,
So,
you're absolutely right. I know that the warming station people have communicated that to us several times.
And the other thing is the families that have stepped up. You mentioned the Morrison family, but also the Rowley family.
Yes.
You have the Rowley Center for Science and Engineering.
Yes,
So
I was
that's
going
part
back
of-
75 years. Rallies are current.
They
going
are
on.
current, but as you say, it's continuing.
It's continuing, yes, and
Yes.
it's
Thank you.
and Rally's not only at the SUNY Orange, but don't forget Rally contributed to our significant amount of money to our Davidge Park Pool and other programs. So the Rally family is all over the place.
Cornerstone, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Cornerstone is another
Yeah.
one.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Mayor. Remarks of department heads, economic development.
Good evening. I'll jump off on what the mayor was saying about the Juneteenth festival. This is the 5th annual Juneteenth celebration here in the city of Middletown, and this year we kind of think it's a lot bigger than it's been, and we've grown it thanks to Yaya and the other groups, the NAACP and the BID, Sadie's. So we collaborated and put together a great program for that day. There's going to be free film screening at the Paramount Theater of American Fiction, 11 a.m. and at 5:30 p.m. And then from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Pavilion at Erie Park is all the community celebration with performances, live music, poetry, dance. And then from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the Minority Business Expo. And that'll be, it's going to be the first that we've done something like that, expo right here along the park. So they're saying we're going to have about 30 vendors overall for that day. So, and then the celebration also continues because that evening is Run for Downtown Park, our free outdoor music event. And one of the performers that is going to be at the Juneteenth celebration, Ray Simone, will be performing from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. there as well. So the celebration goes technically from 11 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. that day, and we're looking forward to a great day. And again, thanks to all the volunteers and everybody involved in putting this together. And summer concerts will be starting that week, the week of June 5th, Farmers Market, June 7th. So my team's been busy putting all this together and getting ready for opening day of everything for the summer. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any question for Maria? All right, thank you, Maria. DPW Commissioner.
Good evening, all. We'll start off with the reservoirs. I know Alderman Massey is not here, but he's watching. The reservoirs are full at capacity. They're overfilled, actually, and we have treated 2 of the reservoirs, 2 out of the 3 reservoirs with copper sulfate. We have to make sure that the water does not overflow, so it's a balancing act. We have to make sure it's sunny, and those times of this time of the year, it's very difficult because of the rain and so on and so forth. But the guys are doing a good job addressing them and staying on top of it. The traffic operations, as you can see, the project resumed. Right now, they're working on Wallkill and Lake Avenue. They're doing the intersection in there to connect it into Lake and Wickham Avenue. So that work is moving forward. Grand Avenue, right across from Twin Towers. The work slowed down because we found the gas line right under the curb line. So we're trying to resolve the issue, and it's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to take a little bit longer to excavate around the gas line, which is directly under the curb. We're trying to find some solutions for it. The annual milling and paving for DPW starts Tuesday, May 27th. The schools is going to be closed on Tuesday. So we're going to be starting around Twin Tower, Grand Avenue, Irwin Avenue, Wisner Avenue, all these areas that has to be milled. We'll mill them and clean them up so that when the school opens on Monday, hopefully they'll be ready for them, for the schools without too much interruption. Before you tonight, the parking garage, we put that project for bid. We opened the bid a while ago. We obtained extension for the bids from different contractors, from the 4 different contractors, because we were working with Orange and Rockland to try to relocate their power lines. And we got an issue with the trees and the bats and so on, and that has been resolved. Right now we're waiting for Orange and Rockland to give us their timeline when they're going to be moving their power lines. And once we have this cleared, should you award the bids tonight, we will coordinate with Orange and Rockland and then send the letters of award for the 4 different contractors. So that's a nice project that will be started. Again, it's about just under $5 million, $2.5 million from Senator Skoufis. It's a grant for the city. Also, this Saturday, reminder that we're going to have the electronics drop-off for city residents, meaning if you have TVs, monitors, servers, computers, what have you, you can bring them in, and we'll take them from you at the DPW garage on Manhagan Avenue from 8 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And with that, I will conclude my remarks. Do you have any questions for me?
Any question for Jacob? Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Superintendent Recreation.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to thank everyone who showed up for the reservoir ribbon cutting. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but I heard it was a great showing, and Ryan and his whole crew were very excited about it, and we are in the process of getting Ryan's photos of creating their process of putting it all together, and pictures and videos from the ribbon cutting, and making a YouTube video of the whole process together. And we are also looking into starting some programming there. Hopefully we'll get these trails on the map and updated, but until then we are looking to do some community rides with people who know the trails very well, so they can lead youth and adults, beginners and advanced, in some rides on those new trails. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from the city clerk?
We have a public hearing, short-term rentals. That's all I have left today. You want me to read that?
And I forgot the police chief. Go ahead, come on, chief.
Good evening. I figured you heard enough from me.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing me to bring those members before the council and recognize them. It's very important to them. It's very important to me and to the community. So thank you for that. Prior to the event this evening, we did host a graduation for our Leadership Academy here in the same room. A great great event once again. Sergeant Welch runs a great program, assisted by Detective Artola, Officer Shalaba, Officer Troya, Officer Harcher, and Animal Control Officer Small. They're all instrumental amongst other people, but they do an amazing program. And I shared earlier today, one of the things that I took away from meeting with that group earlier last week, when I asked them about their experience with the program and some questions, and just spent some time with them, watch them interact, of how they felt prior to after with their experience with policing. And overwhelmingly, they all changed their opinion and have positive experience with police officers. So that is one of the key components of the programs that we do with the youth, is to build those connections with our youth and invest in them, that hopefully the future looks much, much brighter for all of us. So we definitely appreciate the support there. I know we get a lot of support from the school district as well as Orange County Youth Bureau with those programs, so we definitely appreciate that. Another great program, it's on the agenda for you this evening, is to extend the contract with Stevenson Monchiari for our service coordinator. It's coming up on a full year in July. We've had funding for the first year and the second year, and we still work on getting funding for the future. But he hosted a program yesterday at the library, and it was directly in the wheelhouse of what his role is to bring different services together. And he had 30-plus services there that he brought together to collaborate and coordinate on how they could work together to better serve the needs of the community. So I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate your support in continuing him. He's been a great addition to our organization. Other than that, I have nothing unless you have something for me.
Any question for the police chief? When's the next academy?
September.
Okay. All right, thank you, chief. All right, public hearings.
Okay. City of Middletown notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, on or as near to 7:30 p.m. as possible, Common Council Chambers, second floor, 16 James Street, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on the proposed short-term rental legislation. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed legislation. The complete proposed legislation is available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, City Hall, 16 James Street, Room 12, and on the city's website. For any person unable to participate at the time of the public hearing, email comments may be submitted in advance to rmccormack@middletowny.gov by the order of the Common Council.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing's open. Anyone from the public? Okay, anyone from the council? Any questions? Do I got a motion to close? Alderman Ray, second. Alderman John Francois, all in favor? Okay. Remarks of Alderman. Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. I just had one thing. I think this is terrific that we are putting Marilyn Pierce's name on the Middletown warming station, associating her with this. She's been amazing for many, many, many years. The program, as I'm sure many of you know, dates back to time at St. Paul's Church, and that's where I attended it. And it's very tiny, and there were other people involved for sure, but she was the heart and soul of that, and her ability to make this work for as long as she did, and when she gets back involved, is really incredible. It's one of the true great stories of Middletown. I know Jerry's been involved for a long time as well, and I'm sure, please fill in any gaps, but her husband Doug's a good guy, and there are a lot of other people involved, but she's definitely the heart and soul, so I'm very glad that this is happening. Thank you very much.
Alderman Green.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Just knowing Marilyn through the warming station, getting to know her as a constituent as well, and just throughout the years working with her, I know that she's working on it. Whether she's in a wheelchair, whether she's home sleeping, I'm sure she dreams about new ways that she can improve on that place. So it is truly the Marilyn Pierce warming station, and I'm proud and honored to have been able to work with her on that for so many years, and in such a small capacity in my own way. But kudos to her, and congratulations to all of our officers who have been promoted. Just goes to show you the growth from within and the department, and some of our homegrown guys moving up through the ranks, and and others that came here from other cities and other departments and have stayed much longer here. So it really shows you their commitment to our city, and we certainly honor them for that. Thank you.
Alderman Kleiner?
Thank you. I also want to congratulate the officers who were promoted. Fitting ceremony, it was very nice. They deserve the recognition. They do an amazing job. And the Youth Academy and Sergeant Welch, it's tremendous to see. It's nice to see the families and the young people and their appreciation to get to know the officers as people, as well as people who do a job and connect with the community. So the police department deserves all that praise. Thank you. And speaking of the police department, Chief Wansu has agreed to attend our next constituents meeting, which will be on June 9th, so I'll announce that at the next meeting also. That'll be June 9th, 7 o'clock, right here in the council chambers. Marilyn Pierce has her leadership has been outstanding, and her dedication. She and we all still miss Dave Bechtel, who was her co-chair for a long time. Now Michelle Duggan has taken over that role, but it's a very, very well-deserved recognition. So congratulate her for that. I want to thank all the people involved, the young people too, in the Hillside Cemetery tour. That was amazing. Dan Higby drove the bus, his own bus. And the young people in high school who played the roles of some of the famous people who are buried in Hillside Cemetery. So I thank Fred Isaacs and Andy Mills and anyone else who worked on that. It was really terrific. I guess really, I want to compliment also Stevenson. He's also worked with the warming station, but he was with Middletown Cares for so long, but he's just been a tremendous addition to anything he's been asked to do. So whatever we can do to keep him doing it, I thank him. We all don't know what's going on in Washington. I mean, you want to talk about amateur hour, and you want to talk about weaponizing the Justice Department and the things where you arrest a congressperson trying to do their job, and it's just incredible. But you pardon the people who attacked the police officers trying to guard the Capitol against the attempted insurrection, and we try and make that into so many other things. But I would love to hear Mike Lawler say that Biden won the election and talk about the attack on the Capitol and talk about what we should be doing. And the bill now to increase our national debt by $3 trillion at least, it's just what's going on there is unbelievable. So it is part of what we do here, because so much of what we do depends on funding and depends on the leadership and guidance and expertise, and not the loyal amateurs that have put in charge of the government. So, and lastly, there was a march for Gaza that I came across accidentally on Sunday. I didn't know it was happening, but what's going on there is just, it's just unbearable, starving people to death and really trying to just exterminate a population. It's, you know, the Hammurabi Code, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's not a call for vengeance. It was a call for moderation, was a call to make the punishment and the reaction appropriate. And this is not appropriate. This is war crimes. Thank you.
Alderman Ray.
Good evening. I'd like to congratulate all our officers, even the ones who were not able to attend tonight, for all their well-deserved promotions. I've been able to work with the police department over the years, doing night out, and just in my role here on the council. I'm feeling a little protective of them right now. The opponent for the mayor has come out casting aspersions on our police department and how they police, and I frankly was absolutely furious. To speak negatively about our police department is so completely out of pocket. I mean, we are talking about a police department that marched after Floyd and came out as an entire department and spoke, this is not how we police, and it's not how we police. Our police officers go out and buy bags full of ice cream tokens and hand them out to kids when they see them. We do our barbecues. Their participation in Night Out is unbelievable. They're at basketball games at the high school with the kids. Everything we speak on, what our officers do day to day is absolutely phenomenal, and so many other departments in the nation could take a lesson from them. So for anyone to come after our police department, I take that personally. It's upsetting, and it's completely false. So I needed to make sure I said that. That being said, my life has opened up because my daughter finished her play. Presidential Park Elementary put on a 101 Dalmatians play, which I have to say, elementary school, they do an amazing job. And it speaks to our school district. There is a school vote going on today, in case anyone doesn't know that. You have till 9 p.m. I was number 64 at 2 p.m., so I'm hoping more people went out to support our schools. They do a very good budget. They spend their money wisely. If you look at things going on in Newburgh schools, you should be very, very thankful that your children go to school here in Middletown. It is spectacular. And speaking on a school play, I was told at the play by Mr. Perino, and I didn't know this fact, but I thought it was really cool, Middletown, for the 10th year running, has been named as one of the nation's best communities for music education. And that is something that is unique, because what is the first thing on the chopping block? Arts, music. We don't do that here in Middletown. The breadth of knowledge and education that our kids get to receive here, I think I would love to take the Pepsi Challenge with almost any other community. So Middletown continues to be an amazing place to live. I'm very proud of it. All our ribbon cuttings and the things happening here, it's just so, I don't know, I get a lot of joy out of seeing every ribbon cutting, every business opening, our kids outside. It's a great place to be. We're doing good things, and I just say, keep it up, guys. Thanks for your vision, Mayor.
Alderman Johnson.
Thank you. I'll concur with my colleagues with Marilyn Pierce. I mean, talk about the lifeblood of the organization. We can't even calculate the hundreds of people that her efforts have helped over the years. So congratulations to her on that recognition. Police Department, I noted in the presentation that the gentleman had been at other places and they came here and they stayed here. Speaks to perseverance. It speaks to, if you stay in a place, you can move forward. I've heard an expression, Middletown moving forward. I don't know where I heard that, but I think part of that speaks to that as well. I would concur with my colleague from the 3rd Ward. The challengers have made their bed, and we'll see if they enjoy sleeping in it or not. With respect to good cause, Mayor and I met, and Mr. Grillo met with some representatives of that point of view 2 weeks ago and ironed out some of the details of moving forward with the legislation. Mayor and I met with Councilors Grillo and Smith earlier today. Our plan is to, I will, at the end of the meeting, make a motion from the floor to schedule what I would anticipate would be our last public hearing on good cause. And our anticipation is that some type of draft of legislation will be posted on the website prior to June 3rd so that people have an opportunity to review it and come to comment. I've maintained good contact with Bravin Ranga, who's our point man, so to speak, and we hope to kind of move it forward and wrap it up. And if there's any other conversation that the committee or the council wants to have, that would be the opportunity to have it on June 3rd. Thank you very much.
Alderman John Francois.
Thank you. And in respect to the horrible incident that happened at Chester, the young man that lives in my block, and like the mayor mentioned, we went to visit the family. Thankfully, he came home yesterday, so he's doing a lot better. And the family want to personally thank us for our prayers and concern and support. And it's horrible, you know. And as a young man that's trying to make a living, and all he did is ring the wrong doorbell, ask the men for help, and this is what happened. It's sad to see, you know, in the environment that we live in nowadays. You know, people need to just relax. You know, it shouldn't have to come to that. This is horrible. Hopefully that never happens again, but it's just uncalled for. Thank you.
Alderman Tobin.
Yeah, I'd like to join my colleagues in offering congratulations to Officers Patron, Napoli, Gass, Coletti, and Barone. I have on my calendar the 24th electronic drop-off. Is that correct, or did we miss?
The 20.
So just to remind everybody that the electronic, Saturday, the electronics drop-off is Saturday, and that's it for me.
All right, new business.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt to authorize funding for senior yoga programming at Millbury House.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, second by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jan Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green? Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green to authorize funding for art instruction at Millbury House Senior Center.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, second by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner to rename the Middletown warming station in honor of Marilyn Pierce.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, second by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray to award bids and authorize funding for the South Street Parking Garage project.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, second by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing an amendment to the City Code Chapter 460, Vehicles and Traffic, prohibiting three-axle vehicles from turning right from Academy Avenue onto Sterling Street.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean Francois authorizing the authorization to accept donation from Middletown Little League.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, second by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin authorizing a change part-time permanent employees rate of pay.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, second by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing a salary not listed on the approved 2025 rate schedule.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, second by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing the names of the Middletown Reservoir mountain bike trails.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner authorizing an update to the credit card policy.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray, authorizing an amendment to Resolution 255-24 and update to the ARPA obligation retroactive to 12/31/2024.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, authorizing an amendment to Resolution 99-25 to accept 2025 Stop DWI funding in the amount of $8,000, $6,210 original resolution request for an enforcement period of March 10th, 2025 through January 1st, 2026.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Jean-Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois to accept grants award and authorize an agreement with Stephen Monkery to serve as a service coordinator with the Middletown Police Department.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois, seconded by Alderman Ray. Any discussion? Alderman Witt.
Yeah, just a point of order, I guess, here. I'm sure on the paperwork it's correct, but it's actually Stevenson.
Stevenson.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
We know who he is.
Yeah, I just.
It's okay.
Point well
Anyone else? Good point out. Roll.
Okay. Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Oops. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, authorizing budget transfers within the 2025 budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, amending City Code Chapter 475 zoning as it pertains to short-term rentals.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois authorizing extended construction phase services for the South Street Parking Garage Construction Project.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye. Audit.
Mr. Chairman, prior to order, I'd like to make a motion from the floor. As discussed earlier, we're trying to move forward with our good cause legislation. I would like to propose that the Common Council schedule a public hearing on June 3rd, at which time all parties may be heard, and the draft of the document will be available on our website in a timely manner.
So a motion by Alderman Johnson to call for a public hearing. Do I have a second? Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin?
Aye.
Jean-Francois?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Witt?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye. All right, now the audit.
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolutions by Mr. Johnson, seconded by Mr. Green. Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey. He's not here today. President Rodriguez.
Here, aye.
Motion carries.
All right, move for adjournment.